welcome to the Empowered Artist podcast. This is Tamara Hergert, and thank you so much for listening. I am so excited you're here, and I can't wait to share everything with you. If you'd like to get a free digital copy of my book, Artist Success Mindset, please leave a review for our podcast and email a screenshot to us at info@empoweredartist.co. This information is also saved in the episode's details. Thank you.
This is Tamara Hergert and Tristyn MacDonald. So I am actually the one getting interviewed today, and Tristyn, she is a reporter for The Front, which is a newspaper for Washington or for Western Washington University. And so she reached out to me and she had some questions about what it is like to be a mural artist and what it is like to have your art in the public setting, basically doing public art for the city. And so let's dive in. And Tristyn, your turn. Hi.
Okay, so my first question is, what events led you to where you are in your life right now? How did you get into becoming a mural artist?
So it really was a passion from an early childhood. You know how some people are more gravitating towards one activity versus the other. So I remember myself with a pen or a pencil or a brush in my hand since very early on. And I would be just, something I loved doing and lost myself in. And it made me happy, made me very happy doing it. And so I declared to my mom that I was going to be a great artist. And that was going to be my job at the age of 6. And she rolled her eyes and sighed. And of course, tried to steer me towards a more conservative and traditional career. But as a kid, I still wanted to express myself. And that expression led to me participating in exhibits and art shows and starting to sell my art early on in my life. And then also going to a school of art and, getting the education. And then I also followed my mom's career advice, and I also got a degree in accounting. So I kind of have two things
Cool.
under my belt that really helped me in setting myself up for success and having a very grounded standing in a business sense and also as an artist. And so as I was getting my degrees, I also was interning for different places. So one of the places was a tattoo salon. So they had an ad, they were hiring a mural artist, which was odd because they were a tattoo salon, but they were looking for an artist. And I thought, oh, that's interesting. And so I was 17 and I thought, okay, well, it's summer, why don't I just call them? And it took all of my bravery to even make a call and ask them if they would consider me. And they said, oh, yeah, come on by and we'll chat, bring your stuff, bring your art, and we'll take a look. And so I did. And they're, oh, yeah, we love it. Let's do this. And so they gave me this airbrushing machine. And they had a client who needed a mural done on their office wall. And so they wanted like a safari themed mural, basically orange background with some safari animals in the foreground. Right. And by that time, I was a very skilled artist. It was not, I was not at the skill level that I am now, but all things considered, I knew how to do it. I could do it. Yeah. And so I created a sketch. So we all agreed on it. And then I started working with the airbrushing machine, and oh my God, what a disaster it was, because it's basically like a spray paint, but it clogged all the time because I was using just regular paint, which is much thicker than what the airbrusher should take.
I see.
To make things worse, they didn't really train me like at all on how to use it or what to do. That you can do some stencils, you can kind of like put a paper here so it doesn't get also turned out very blurry. As much as I tried to make the edges crisp, just working with the airbrusher alone, just made it all kind of look like blurry and just very washed out. And I was just struggling with it for 3 weeks. It took me 3 weeks to work on that mural. And it was an unpaid project because it was an unpaid internship. So I spent 3 weeks of my time. And of course they were not happy. Of course, there was no follow-up projects after that with them, but it was a great experience. It was a learning experience for me. And I sat on the bench in the park after I finished the project, and I cried my eyes out, and I thought, oh my God, I wanted it so much, and it didn't work out. And then what happened next is that I allowed myself to step back and kind of look at it with a little bit of perspective. I thought, well, what if I didn't use the airbrusher? What if I just used the regular brushes? I could have nailed that whole mural in 3 days, no problem. And then it dawned on me that I could still do it. I can still do this kind of projects. It just was not the right tool for me to use, even though 3 weeks of me struggling with it gave me experience of how it works. And I actually used the airbrusher later in lots of my projects, for different elements. And it was great for me because I used the right paint that is more liquidy. And then I used like either spray or another layer of clear paint to fix the airbrush layer of paint in place, because it's kind of very thin and it doesn't really stay as well. Like basically can scratch it easily.
Gotcha.
So that was it. And then shortly thereafter, like maybe a year later, I was interning for a design agency, and they had another client who also wanted a mural. And I said, I was very frank to them, with them. I said, hey, my first mural really did not work out, but I think this one will. And they said, okay, well, how about you make a sketch for it? And so I made a sketch, and they loved it. And I said, I'm gonna just use brushes this time. And I nailed it. The mural was 3 times larger.
Wow.
And I nailed it in all respects because it only took me a week.
Oh wow, that's very
cool. Yes.
That's impressive.
Yes, the first one was 10 by 10, and so this one was 30 by 10. And it just turned out beautifully, and I got paid for it this time, and like a lot of money. And for like a college student at that age, when you get paid a whole bunch of money, you're like, oh my God, this is awesome. I can do it. I love it. I can get paid a whole bunch of money for it. This is amazing. And so
and doing something that you love doing too. That must feel great.
It felt great. It felt like I could really apply myself somewhere where it was really needed. And so I kind of started rolling after this, and I kept on taking different projects. And I think the thing that really opened doors for me was that I'm not afraid to take on projects that are unusual, that are unconventional, and for example, like a pop-up mural in a public setting. That was a project like that at the Seattle Tacoma Airport. So that was an event slash a mural project. So I'm very good at doing live events and also at doing large scale projects quickly and also engaging the crowd. And so they loved it, and it was it was very successful. Yeah.
Awesome. Nice. That's very cool. What do you think murals can add to a city or wherever you incorporated it? What do you think it can add to the environment?
It always adds a color splash. It makes it less gray and more alive. It's kind of like adding a flower to a meadow. It just makes it more beautiful instantly. But what I have experienced and what I've learned watching different murals throughout the city and in different settings is that the mural needs to belong there. So it needs to fit in the vibe of the neighborhood, and it needs to be loved by the community and understood by the community. So that is why it's so important for the art committees to also understand that, because usually the city projects, basically the public projects, they're managed by the city's art committees.
Mm-hmm.
And it takes a very long time for the design to be approved, because there's usually like 10 people contributing their thoughts and ideas, and it takes a while for them to agree even on the concept. And then it takes a while for all the design phases to take place, basically preliminary design, then final design, then edits. It can take like a year for it to actually come to fruition. And oftentimes cities do a call for art. So they would, there's a website called, I think, cafe.org or something like that. It's basically, and it's a platform where artists can go on and look for calls from all sorts of jurisdictions, all sorts of cities and states and countries even. If they need public art done, you can actually apply for another state's project if it's open to anyone, basically not just in-state artists, but anyone can apply.
That's cool.
Yes, and when they do that, that allows artists to travel and do, expand their reach and, do the projects for different areas and kind of leave their mark there. I think it's very important to encourage that. So.
Yeah, absolutely. That definitely seems like it opens up a lot more opportunities. So what has inspired you to create some of the art that you've made?
Most of my art that I create is on commission. Basically, the inspiration comes from the client or the company or the city, and so I get inspired by what ideas they have. So I'm very good at taking what they have, processing it, and crystallizing it into a very coherent image, which is a sketch for the entire mural. And it's important to be flexible, and also to be in the mindset that is let's do this in the best possible way. So it turns out the best possible way, but my way may not be the best possible way. The way I think it should be, it may not be the best possible way. So it is important um, to be open-minded and to kind of go with the flow in a way, because oftentimes it totally it totally makes sense to have more people to contribute, but also it is very important to stand your ground when you feel that you need to stand your ground on a certain subject or area or thing. Like, if I feel that this color needs to be that particular color, it is important to voice your opinion.
Yeah.
And also give them more information why you think it is important for this to be this color and not that other color that they would like to be, because it creates this something, this effect. If you and also give them comparison, if we make it like that, then it's gonna stand out too much. If we keep it like this, then it will be more coherent. And I also had a situation where a client wanted to basically break the perspective. We had a continuous mural basically throughout the space. And then in one area, they wanted to switch the perspective to be not the sideways perspective, not like, you're looking around, but as if you're looking down.
I see.
So that would have looked so odd
Yeah.
in one spot. And so they brought that idea up to me 3 times, and 3 times I had to explain why it will look totally odd and why it is important to keep the perspective the same throughout the space.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that I believe it makes artists valuable professionals, because we're experts in our field. And if we think that this is worth standing up for, and I didn't really want to put my name on the project if I had to break the perspective, and the project itself would not have flown.
And it wouldn't have been like your vision.
Yeah, well, it's their vision, and it's also they're bringing it through me as a channel. I'm their tool. But I'm a very experienced tool that has the best recommendations for what that should be. And so I think that's how it is. You need to go with the flow. You need to be flexible, but also you need to provide the best recommendation and the best expertise that you can provide, because that's what they're paying you for eventually. In the end, whether you're working with the city or with a private client or with a large company, they want you for who you are, which is the professional in your field.
Yeah. Absolutely. So when you started doing murals, does that what you liked doing from there on out?
It's interesting because I expanded my my field of work into several areas, and right now I'm focusing more on teaching, because that's what I feel cold towards. It's right now that's what I lean into. But different periods of my life, they had different focuses. That was a period when I focused more on illustrations, and that was super fun. And then there was a period when I just started getting a whole bunch of commissions for paintings, and I did a whole bunch of art shows and exhibits. And so it kind of it evolves, and
Yeah.
expands. And as you grow as an artist, it's interesting how it changes your perspective on life, and also your it opens up different income streams,
Yeah.
which is great. So when you do one thing, you're focused, but you're not diversified. When you start kind of slowly building in another stream, your your revenue kind of gets multiplied in that respect, and so you kind of have multiple streams of income. Yeah, for example, like when I had a whole bunch of commissions and art shows, that was during COVID, which was very unexpected. Yeah, so I did a whole bunch of digital art as well, because people were sitting at home and getting bored, and they just wanted to bring something special to life, so they can put it up on their wall and remember that special moment or special place where they were super happy. And so I did a lot of those paintings, and those were very fun projects to do too.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. So what has your experience been like working as a mural artist in like a bigger city like Seattle?
There is a lot going on in Seattle. Yeah, and every artist kind of chooses their own playing field, like where they're going to play, in terms of what their clients are and what projects they focus on. Some artists focus on doing more public art. Some artists focus on doing more of public graffiti art. So I'm not into public graffiti art because it's basically unauthorized.
Yeah.
I cannot do that. And it is unpaid, and I'm not into that either. And so, yeah, but the city of Seattle, and I would say just the greater Seattle area, is wonderful for an artist. And if you can figure out your positioning online so that you can have a consistent stream of clients and projects, that would be the best. Yeah. So, and that's pretty much what I'm teaching right now. So I have the empowered artist community, where I bring artists together and I teach them all I know and what I gather from other artists I interview for the podcast and for the community interviews. And so collectively, we have a whole bunch of knowledge and information between all of us, and we all have figured out different fields, and it just we're not sharing it well enough. We're not really, acting as an industry or as a community of professionals, and so that's what I'm working towards changing, so that we have one very strong source of information that has the latest and greatest, and so that everybody can come and just get whatever they need fast, without spending weeks or years on studying or training or watching whatever courses they need to watch, So I'm trying to make it super concise, to the point. Here's what you need to know. Because everybody has such a short attention span, myself included. I cannot stand alone course.
Yeah.
So, just here you go. It's 1 hour. Take it, digest it, apply it to what you have going on, and start, getting what you need to get. So that's my approach, and that's what I aspire to create on a bigger scale, so that there's a whole bunch of stuff, and all kinds of interests are covered.
Yeah, I like that. That's very cool. I think the last question that I have for you is, what has been your favorite thing about being a mural artist? Or some of your
What
favorite things?
what has been my favorite thing about mural artists? My favorite, actually, there are several favorite things. So from the very first moment when I get an inquiry for a new project or an idea for a new project, it just, a light is inside of me. It lights up, and I get super excited, and I'm like, oh my god, this is going to be so cool. And then as I work more on the project, I can see it in my mind. I can see the details, and I can see how it's gonna turn out. And it really all clicks together when my vision um, clicks together with the skill. So as you work on more and more projects, your skill improves with each project. Your speed improves, your just understanding of the material, of the tools that you're using, like, your brushes, your paint, difference in different paints. And it's like you're one with them. You are working so efficiently, and things get done so much faster and better. And so I did one of my last project was it's like a scene, a panoramic scene with the mountain range, the Cascade Mountain Range, and there's a Space Needle in the front, and a huge sunset sky in the background. So if I were to pin that kind of project like in my early 20s, it would have taken me like a week and a half
Yeah.
to do that. It was just very intricate and beautiful, and just kind of the blend of colors and the transition of the sky colors, and it only took me 2 days to create it. It was a big one. It was like
Yeah, and it
15
sounds
feet
beautiful.
by 15 feet. And at the end of the second day, when I was done, I was kind of amazed, because I was tired, but I was also just in wondering, in awe, because I just let it flow out. It was my skill got to the level where I could just sort of relax inside, not worry about how it's going to turn out. Is it going to turn out good? Is it going to what should I do here? How do I solve for this issue? And it just kind of, I was in such a relaxed state that it flowed out. And when you're in the flow, which is, I think some books discuss the state of flow and creativity, when you're just allowing the pure creativity to flow out, it's the most efficient way, really, to create something. And so I experienced it, and it was totally pure joy and excitement, and also just tremendous pleasure to bring something like that. And so and also get paid for it. I love being paid for what I do. It's
totally.
Yes, and it's just money adds more joy, and it's validation that you're doing something right, that people respect you, that you are valued and appreciated for your skill, your effort. And whether it's a city project or a private project, or a project that you're working on for yourself to sell later, the money always need to be at the foreground. It's some people say, oh, I just do my art for myself. Yes, and that's cool. But if you're doing it on a professional scale to support yourself and your family, you need to also think of it now from the business and commercial perspective, because that's part of doing the business.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that your like knowledge of that with like your experience as an artist and like having gotten that degree like has helped you
It
become
has, yes. It made me unafraid of business. Lots of artists are like, oh no, I don't want to do it as a business. I'm really afraid to even call myself a business. And the thing is, from the tax and business perspective, you don't really need to set up an LLC to start working as an artist. You can still call yourself a business and be an individual, individual sole proprietor without an LLC. LLC is just there to somewhat protect you from liability, but it doesn't really uh, involve that much work. Setting it up or maintaining it doesn't really cause that much effort. So that has been my experience, and uh, I think my mission is to demystify it and to make it less scary, to make
Yeah.
it more approachable, to make it so that artists can be confident about doing business, not just painting something hoping that they can sell it.
Yeah.
I want them to have an idea and a vision for their business, for them as professionals, and kind of start gearing themselves up for and molding themselves into these visions of themselves that are both creatively and financially successful, so that they can be strong and grounded in that respect.
Yeah, absolutely. That's cool. Yeah, well, I think you've answered all my questions. So
Awesome. Okay. Well, I guess this concludes our podcast interview with Tristyn MacDonald and me, Tamara Hergert. So I hope you guys enjoyed this episode, and see you next time.
Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this episode and subscribe to this podcast. Check out our website and connect with us on social. We are here to help you bring your vision of success to life. So thank you and bye for now.